Hi, and welcome to Moments of Magic. Tonight we're going to continue our talk about keys because we got some questions about them, and we got some comments about what they might be. And so I wanted to show you a few more crystals that actually contain keys and what you can do with them. So this first one that Scoop has, we're going to try and get it so that you can actually see. It's an indentation that's shaped it's generally shaped like a doorway or
let me tilt this back a little because
a doorway or a indentation. Sometimes it's six-pointed, sometimes it's just a doorway. This one's more like a doorway. And what you can do, there you can see it. You can see the edge of it right there. What you can do with these is if you want the information contained within them, you can actually just put your thumb in here and ask the question, and then sit and quietly and meditate with the stone, and you will get some information from the stone, which is generally pretty interesting. Here's another, there's just a couple of examples. I'm not sure you'll be able to see these. This one has a six-pointed square. This is not the best. It's a six-pointed indentation there. This one has, maybe you'll be able to see it better, right there. Right there is like an indentation where you can, and your thumb fits quite nicely in the crystal. So it's a fun way to actually play with the crystals and get the information that they store. And the keys will generally, it's going to be information that either needs to come to you or maybe is for everyone. It depends on how you're using it, so or what the crystal actually tells you. So that's my little continuation of the keys and the crystals. And then you have some.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do other just stones have keys? I mean, are holy stones, is that like a key?
I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe. Well. And again, this is information that that comes to you that could be true. It's interesting when you talk about crystals because there's all sorts of stories around crystals, and I feel like a lot of times the crystal picks up the information from the story itself. So it's hard to say. But I feel like when I've used these in the past and I've meditated with them, I generally get information from perhaps a new guide or a something that has to do with where the crystal came from. You can get a lot about the landscape of where the crystal came from these keys, or the story of where it's been. You can get that as well. So it's an interesting exercise to do if you want to. It's another way to play with your crystals, and as you remain open, then you discover all kinds of things. I'm sure that's how they were discovered in the first place, that there were keys in these things, because the shapes don't come from anything specific, really, generally. So. You have a story.
And keys are an interesting idea because we use those the story of keys we use in a variety of ways. For instance, that big finger bracelet that Jean has on, this particular, I'll use my pointer, this medallion that I have, I've discovered that when I do shows, actually that medallion is kind of a key to get people interested in, if we're selling stones, what stones we're selling, if we're selling wands, what wands we're selling. People seem to key in on this and say, wow, they'll have some kind of a comment about that, which is, like a kind of a way of
it's an opener,
entering into conversation with people about, like the things that we have and the ideas that we have and whatever philosophies we happen to be working from. And so you got to watch for those. You got to watch for those key moments that where you learn something or information comes to you that's valuable, that may, alter the way that you see or do things. And they come from a wide variety of different sources, and you don't always hear them coming. I've had to do a couple of shows now this year. I haven't really been interested in doing, like art
It
festivals
is an
and stuff
icebreaker.
for the last few years, because they're difficult. It's not terribly, I don't know, they're difficult. But I got the message this last weekend. I was doing a show, and I had these people that came up to me, and they were all interested in various kinds of things that I didn't think that people were going to be interested in. Like, what are those things there? What are those called? Well, they're magic wands. So, you have to answer that question, and it kind of reopened an old door that I had. That what I really do is I like to be able to talk to people about the relevance of mineralogy, stones, and the things that you can make from them. And so that was a kind of a key moment. And then,
Or a moment of magic.
or a moment of magic, both. So maybe these should be key moments of magic.
So we, again, as always, appreciate your comments and questions. And if you do have questions, or if you want to meditate with one of your stones that has this little opening of like a 6-point, like a hexagon, just stick your thumb in there and meditate and let me know what you get, because I would love to hear.
And Jean had an interesting key moment when we were trying to set up tonight's moment of magic. She was unable to get on Facebook to put up the ad. And so, for those of you that view it later remotely, we hadn't forgotten about you. We just were unable to access
Computers.
the computers. And so that might be a key moment of something that we need to take, into consideration going forward. So watch for those things.
Yes, absolutely. And we will see you next week on Thursday for another moment of magic, or maybe more. Thank you for tuning in, as always, and we welcome your questions and comments.